What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? Yo Gotti engaged in a high-stakes charity blackjack game at Jay-Z's Sean Carter charity gala and got his head knocked off. He lost $500,000 in a game because the dealer had 21. 21 is hard to beat when you're playing 21. Jay-Z was shocked. Now it's reported that Jay-Z is worth around $1 billion, somewhere in that neighborhood. Why does any of this concern me? Why am I telling you? Why am I talking about this? Because as I mentioned to you before, I don't just cover news and politics. I cover social issues. Gambling is a social issue that should be addressed. Some of you are going to resonate with this message. Some of you are going to hear this and say, whoa, you hit it spot on, Will. You see, what I'm going to bring to you right now is a cautionary tale. What I try to do is put information out there that could possibly help you better your life. I try to inform you. That's what I do. This is one of those videos that if you are going through this in any type of way, or you know someone that's going through this, it might be helpful. Now, I'm not saying that Yo Gotti have a gambling problem. Maybe $500,000 ain't a big deal to him. Maybe he ain't gonna miss it. Maybe that was just him playing for charity and he don't have a gambling problem. But I can tell you at one point, I did. Back in the 90s, I used to gamble all the time on all kind of stuff. One time, I was playing blackjack. Well, not one time, but at one point, I was on the street playing blackjack. I went to the casino in Lake Charles from Houston for 2 months in a row. Twice a week, I lost thousands of dollars each time I went. It got to a point, it got so bad that I would have to make sure that I filled up my tank because I would drive. And it's like a 2-hour drive. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. So I would have to fill up my tank before I leave. Now, I also would leave my credit card because you know how it is when you're gambling. You always think that you're one lick away from hitting the jackpot. I kept thinking, my arrogance made me think that I would win. I can't just keep losing. Eventually, I got to win once. So what would happen, sometimes I would do well, but I wouldn't make enough money to cover all the losses. So I'm trying to make up all the losses at one time, and bam, lose. Gambling really is not a sport for people who have a taste for vengeance. That's me. So, kept going, losing. Finally, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going again. Whatever they won, whatever they beat me for, they got me. So what I did is I stopped going, and once I stopped going, I started looking at the amount of money I was losing each week, and I said, well, now I'm gaining that money because I'm not going. That's the way I started looking at it. A friend of mine's father once told me, once you work and you get paid, you already won. Why are you gambling? I'm not a fool. I was never a full-time gambler. At that time, I was mostly doing music and real estate. I'm taking clean, hard-earned money and I'm mixing it with dirty money and money that was made fast. And I'm dealing with people who do this for a living all day, every day. They're sitting around thinking about how to beat hardworking people or anybody, how to beat them. That's what they're thinking about all day long. I'm not sitting around thinking about how to beat the system all day long. That's not my profession. You know, it's a hobby for me, an expensive hobby, but nevertheless, a hobby. They're doing it all day, every day. This is what they do. Same thing when you're gambling on the dice. If you do it when you get off work, or you do it when you know, after you get your bread legally, and you go out to a gambling shack and you gamble, these dudes are sitting around playing with the dice all day long. They sitting around cracking the cheat codes all day long. All they doing is trying to figure out a way how to hustle the clean money. So you're really at a disadvantage because this is all they do. So they have the ups on you. If you don't understand that, you will at some point if you're still gambling, if you have a gambling problem. At the end of the day, when it comes to gambling, the way I looked at it is that, you know, unless you're a real professional, this is what you do. That's all you do. And this is how you buy homes and cars and everything that you do. Unless you're really a professional. Like, if you don't gamble, you don't eat. Unless that's what you do. And you got money in the bank, I mean big money in the bank, and you put your kids through college with gambling and stuff. If you ain't doing it like that, you're not a professional. So unless you're doing it like that, the best thing to do would be, if you're going to gamble, don't think about gambling as a way to buy things or pay bills and stuff like that. Just think of it as something that you do in leisure. I'm gonna put this amount of money up and it's all fun and games, and if I lose it, no big deal. If I win, that's cool, but I can walk away at the drop of a dime. That's the way you have to look at it. Otherwise, you'll find yourself spending a whole lot of time away from your family. It's gonna cause you, if you're married, it's gonna cause you marital problems. You'll probably end up losing your family. You'll probably end up losing your woman, your children, your house, your cars, and everything else. Because it's addictive, and I have seen people do that. I've never went that far, but it will cause tension because you're out in the streets when you could be at home with your family. At the end of the day, for me, I know I may have won a little or lost a little. I may have lost more than I won. I don't even know. I can't even put my finger on the numbers. But one thing that I do know that I lost more than anything was quality time with my family. And I also probably lost at least a year or two just with the anxiety that's associated with gambling. So for me, it wasn't worth it. That's why I haven't done it in almost 20 years. This is just my experience with gambling. Yours may be different. Perhaps you don't have a problem with gambling at all. Perhaps you don't know anyone who's ever had a problem. But if you do, if you've ever been in this type of situation before, hopefully you heard something in my message that resonates with you, that you can use to better your position or someone else's position. But at the end of the day, like I always say, do what makes you sleep good. Hopefully, after taking that $500,000 lick, your Gotti can still sleep good. I know Jay-Z will. No more talk.
What the haters talking about?
Yeah.